Hi, my love. Rose here. So this is going to be your love spell reading. Thank you so much for your patience as I was able to find a nice window to film the reading. The reason being is I have just a difficult living situation where I live with very conservative people and I can't film openly when they're around. There's no privacy and whatnot. So I prefer to do my readings when they're not around. So that is why. Okay. So I have the love spell spread right here. This is your reading is actually the final Halloween reading I'm going to be doing this year. So I'm going to be working with the Trick or Tarot, which is this one. And I will be reading also from the Halloween Oracle. Your reading is private, so no one will be able to view it except for you and myself, and anyone you choose to give the link to your video reading to. So other than that, it is completely private. All right. So I read your email, and we're going to be focusing on this connection, this thing that you have going on with E, and you feel attracted and have been connected to this person for some time. And I feel like we're going to be just tapping in to see if there is a future you are looking in terms of marriage. So we will see if that is in the cards. That's going to be the main focal point of this reading. Like I say, for the love spell, I do work with a set spread. So I will do my best to keep the focus on the question. But sometimes the cards do bring up other things. So depending on what comes up, I will let you know. Let's give it a good couple shuffles. All right. So let's start with the Oracle card, the Witch. This is you right now, or the energy of this question right now. So we have midnight, the most magical hour of all. This card is making me feel, because of the fact that there's a watch in the image, it's time, okay? And with time comes patience. With time is planning. With time, let me turn on my salt lamp, see if it's too bright. Oh, that's pretty good. With time comes planning, but it also takes patience. And I feel like this is a symbol of a slow pace growth, okay? I also feel like the most magical hour of all, we could talk about the fact that if you do manifestation work, if you set intentions, like with candles, or, you know, you set prayer, like anytime you say a prayer or make a wish, you're setting an intention for something that you want, something you desire. So that's what I mean by setting an intention. If you do that kind of work, this card could also be displaying the need to do so, setting the intention that you want this connection with E to grow and advance into something more. Okay. Now we have the Cauldron. This is your hopes for this relationship, this love, your hopes for this love. And we have the Ace of Cups. I love it. So Ace of Cups coming up is saying the hope for love. We want to see you opening up your heart. We want to see E opening up their hearts. We want to see letting and releasing emotions, basically confessing feelings, confessing what is in your heart. We want to see that on both of you guys. Okay, aces are new beginning cards, so that's also a really good plus there. Anytime an ace is present, it is the beginning of a journey, the beginning of a experience. So for this love to bloom, we want to see that happen. I feel like this is just kind of shifting. You guys are both making yourselves comfortable with the fact that you are going to be progressing from one kind of a relationship dynamic to the next stage. And I feel like with that comes needing to confess your feelings. Okay. Obviously you wouldn't know how E feels if he didn't tell you, or they didn't tell you, and they wouldn't know how you feel if you didn't say anything to them. Okay. So that's what I'm saying, is needing to confess feelings, having like really breaking the ice and having that initial conversation where a lot of this is going to come out. Okay. Let me move this. Make sure you can see. Next, we have Eye of Frog. What are you failing to see? We have Strength. Now, failing to see what? How could strength be what you were failing to see? I'm getting the feeling that maybe you don't see things as powerful and potential as you think that they really, as they really are. Maybe you doubt a lot. Maybe you place a lot of weak thoughts is what I'm getting on the dynamic of this. You don't give enough faith. You don't have enough faith and trust that this has the potential to grow. I feel like it's not just on E. I feel like it's in love in general. I feel like for you, having faith that you are going to have the happy ending, the whole fairy tale romance kind of thing, I feel like you have a lot of doubts about it. I feel like you tend to like you don't trust that something good is going to happen. I feel like you always think when something good is happening, something is going to come down and break it all apart. You know what I mean? So I feel like the strength card of what you're failing to see is that you are very strong when it comes to love, and you have the potential to be loved. I feel like sometimes maybe you think that you aren't good enough. Maybe you feel like you don't compare to other people. Maybe you size yourself up to other potential, people who you see are in relationships, and maybe you think, I don't know if I could ever have that, blah, 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 or you feel like you're not deserving of it. So I feel like the strength card is kind of a reminder to you that you are powerful. You do have the ability to love and to be loved. And also you need to strengthen your faith in love. You need to strengthen the fact that you do have what it takes to fall in love and to have that romantic experience. Because I feel like with the card, my vibe, my intuition is telling me sometimes you think either you're not deserving of it or that it's never going to happen for you. Okay. I also feel like a side by side with the Midnight card, it's kind of saying maybe you've been so patient and you have been waiting for so long that you're starting to have doubts about, is this real? Is this actually going to be meant to be? Next, we have Puppy Tongue, how to approach this situation. Knight of Pentacles. So approaching your connection with E is basically a nice patient, which is why I feel like I was drawn to the fact that we have the clock. Being very patient, allowing time to take place as it's meant to. A Knight of Pentacle energy is somebody who is very careful with their actions. They really think it through before they do anything impulsive. Okay, so I feel like how you should approach this relationship dynamic, this potential, especially if it's you, confessing your feelings, is to approach it softly, to approach it open heart, but also be willing to allow divine timing to take place. You can't force something to happen. You could try, but if it is not meant to be, you will find you will hit constant walls, constant blocks. So I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is like, you got to be patient in this process. And also it's a pentacle suit, and the pentacle suit is about earth energy. It's being grounded. So I feel like for you, you need to be more stable and firm and just planted. Really, you need to believe in yourself and have more trust and strength in yourself, confidence, before going forward with this whole relationship. You need to truly believe that you are deserving of it and that it will happen before you actually go and open the can of worms. You know what I mean? Next is the unicorn horn, a wish for your future. So we have the Nine of Wands, and Nine of Wands is a card of kind of like you've been putting in so much work, you finally received the prize, but it's like you've put in a lot of work. I feel like it's almost like you'll receive the end result, but it won't come as super swift as you would like. Okay, so I feel like how to a wish for the future is, even though things may not be coming to be as quickly as you would like them to, as we were saying with the clock, and you know, the whole matter of time and patience, to keep at it. Okay, trust your insights, trust your intuition. If you feel like this is a dynamic that is meant to be, trust it. Now, if you don't feel that way about this person, if you feel like, you know, maybe after you've expressed your feelings and you notice that they're distancing themselves from you, and you're really like, your intuition's like, nah, I don't think they're feeling it. The wish for the future is that you will be able to move on. Okay, because the Nine of Wands can also be, you put in so much work in all of it, you're finally going to throw in the towel, that kind of thing. So it could go both ways. I want to read it both ways for your sake, because like I said, this is a future prediction, and anything can go. I mean, the future can change in the blink of an eye. So I feel like for you, it's, my intuition is telling me stay firm, and really it comes from the kind of energy you're going to put into this. And as long as you are, you know, you believe in yourself and what you deserve, you know, you will manifest those things that you want. But if you are going into this with a lot of doubts and a lot of like fears, you're putting out that intention of that, and that's what you're going to receive back. So be able to switch that around, and you change the energy of what it is that you're trying to manifest, and I guarantee what you receive will be what you're asking for. The fingers, we have the finger, which direction to take this whole thing. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. So let that be validation. Ten of Pentacles, this is a card of community. It's a card of coming together. So take this as a validation that this dynamic with this person, keep going, okay? Keep going, keep on trying. Ten of Pentacles is the kind of like a community or a party. So, you know, this could be maybe inviting this person out somewhere, some sort of a gathering. It might be some sort of celebration. You know, the holidays are coming up, so there's a lot of opportunities for parties. So, you know, inviting this person with you. You want to really just break the ice, but you want to like take it in a direction where this person will start to realize that there's interest there. And the interest goes beyond just being friends. Okay. Then we have 3 beating hearts, the connection between the two of you. So we have the 7 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, and we have the Knight of Wands. So the connection between the two of you. 7 of Swords is a little problematic for me. That one is making me feel like it's maybe holding back on words. It's fears of really opening up. It's also be careful with opening up too much too soon. So you don't want to like lay out all of your dirty laundry for the other person to see just because you're trying to open up to them, okay? 7 of Swords is a card of manipulation or lies. So just be very careful with like how you approach this person. Be your true self. Don't try to be someone you're not. And same goes for them, you know, just really make sure that you are aware of red flags or potential red flags, and honor those red flags as you see them come. I'm not saying that they're going to come with this dynamic, but if it were to, you know, be prepared for that. But also I feel this is making me feel, be more yourself. Don't try to be an image of someone else just because you may think that this person would appreciate that more. Then we have the 10 of Swords. This is the 10 of Swords can sometimes be, you know, a little problematic as well. But I'm taking this one to interpret it as the need for surrender. Sometimes you got to surrender to your fears of opening up, your fears of being vulnerable, your fears of putting yourself in a situation where you don't know what the outcome is going to be. That's what Ten of Swords is telling me. So I feel like this connection, in order to make this grow into something more, you are going to have to surrender yourself to that potential of being uncomfortable or the potential of being rejected, that kind of thing. You have to face fears. You will never know if you don't try. And then we have Knight of Wands, and Knight of Wands energy is very passionate. It's very fiery. It's a lot of chatty, so there is a good connection between you two with conversations. You may find that the conversations just never run dry. You guys always have something to talk about. There's a lot of passion there, so there's a lot of, mutual attraction. The sexual energy will be very good. But be very careful on impulsive decisions. Make sure that you do consider and think things through with that Knight of Pentacle that we pulled earlier versus making impulsive decisions without really considering the possible outcomes or the whole process of doing this, okay? The Knight of Wands can also reveal the two of you, your dynamic together, maybe fast forward. So maybe the initial patience and the time it took for this to unravel, when you finally are in that, dating phase, you may find that you guys will be taking things quicker than you expected, that your relationship might grow rather quickly. And then lastly, we have the potion, which is the final outcome of this situation. And we have the Knight of Swords. So Knight of Swords is all about honoring truth. It's all about honoring your communication and whatnot. Knight of Swords is very powerful, but it's also just, you got to have truth, open honesty, open conversation, open dialogue at all times. That is what this relationship is going to require. The other thing is, be very careful with, I feel like the dynamic with you guys, the thing you may struggle with is, even though communication is really good between you two, you may struggle with impulsive, little nitty gritty things like arguing over stuff. Just arguments, I feel, is going to be one of the big things between you two that you're going to be, fighting over. But basically, do I see this growing? Yes, I do. I feel like it has deep potential, but because of that, I want to pull just a little bit intuitively for you. Because like I said, this was a set spread, so it doesn't allow me to go too deep. But just because we have about a couple more minutes before it's 20 minutes in, let me pull for you. So many sword suits. So definitely the Two of Cups is the fear here. This is literally, this is like a relationship that is waiting to happen, but it takes a lot of facing fears in order to obtain it. Okay, so if neither of you are willing to be uncomfortable and take that first initial step, you may not see the outcome of this. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. Is there a chance for potential for children with this person? Yes, we have the Empress coming up with the Knight of Swords. That could be, going into it quickly. But I also feel Empress beside Knight of Swords is saying you need to make sure you are openly having a conversation with this person about what they want in their future. Because you may find out they may not want kids. So that is something you need to make sure you discuss with this individual or any individual that you are dating prior to, full-blown commitment. You just want to make sure you guys are aligned. The Page of Swords coming up as that first card that I pulled just gives me the vibe of there's just a fear of taking a leap of faith. We see this little bat creature flying off the tree. To me, that's just fear of taking that leap. Okay, having the initial confession or conversation. King of Swords, Sun, and Nine of Swords, which is the fear card. So definitely there is just an initial fear of opening up, but I do feel like This has potential to grow. Intuition card came up, so that's obviously guiding you to trust your vibe, trust your intuition in this process. If you feel like now is the right time to open up and break the ice, then do it. You know, if you feel like it's not, then wait until you feel comfortable. But understand that this is going to require facing some fears and taking leaps of faith in order to get this to get going, okay? You will not know what each other wants and what each other's feelings are if you don't open up. So that is that, my love. I feel like hopefully this gives you something to, you know, consider and think about, but I do see good things coming from this. So I wish you all of the best in your journey of love. Trust yourself, have faith in yourself, and be patient, okay? And until then, I look forward to reading for you again. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, my love.